You want to make sure that it feels like a playground. You want to make sure that you're enjoying every single step of the way.
Level Up had 40 million views.
Yeah. They're sharing my art on their page.
When somebody shows us what is possible, it gives younger dancers someone to look up to and to be able to say, well, if she can do it, I can too.
The journey lasts much longer than that destination. Dial all the social media stuff down and just being a professional dancer that knows how to carry herself, knows how to show up prepared. It's like a sea of people just cheering on for you, and they're so happy. And when you look down, it's like you're the star too.
Welcome to the Business of Dance podcast, where you'll learn what it takes to create your dream professional dance career.
Join us as we dive into the insights and experiences of the world's top dance industry professionals, including dancers, choreographers, agents, casting directors, educators, and other dance industry experts.
We explore a diverse range of topics, from personal development and mental skills to audition techniques, creating meaningful industry connections, social media marketing, seeking out dance agents and casting opportunities, on-the-job etiquette, talent unions, pitching to the media, health, finances, and so much more.
Here is your host, Menina Fortunato.
Hello and welcome to our first Business of Dance in studio interview. She is a dancer, teacher, choreographer, dance influencer, owner of Queens and Letos, co-founder of The Stew Los Angeles, and new reporting artist. She's got 500 million views on YouTube. She's worked with Chris Brown, Jennifer Lopez, Nicki Minaj, and most recently on the Beyonce Renaissance Tour. Please help me welcome Miss Aliya Janell.
That was fantastic.
So happy to have you.
So happy to be
and
here.
We're in your
my home.
Yes, The Stew, Los Angeles. So before we dive into what's going on currently, I want to backtrack.
Yeah.
I want to hear about the beginning, when you started dancing. What did that look like pre-professional life?
Man, okay, if we want to go back, I mean, I was always the person that liked to be in the center. I liked to entertain, honestly. I liked the feeling that it gave me. I liked the feeling that it gave to the people that were watching me. At this point, I was, 5 years old, so that being my family. And I just think that dance was something that I noticed very early that came natural to me. I didn't need to try very hard. I didn't need to take notes, or I didn't need to, I felt like I didn't need to study it. Once when you get older, you realize that, depending on what lane you want to, a bit of studying does come into the fact. But it was just so fun. And, I'm born and raised here in LA, and I didn't realize that all of the major studios, that number one being Millennium Dance Complex, is the studio that everybody wants to train at and get to. I didn't know that it was literally in my backyard. So I started training there, started taking little kids hip hop classes.
You were one of the kids hip hop classes.
I was in one of the kids hip hop
wow.
classes. Yes. So shout out to them. And it was an every Saturday thing. It was strictly recreational. It was something to, for my mom to just drop me off at so she can go be, the woman that she is.
Yeah.
And I had the most fun. Dance was everything to me. I was always one of the best ones. I was always the one that was picked out or, chosen for a solo or something like that. And it was a really good feeling. I didn't know what any of those things meant at the time, but I just know that it was so natural, and it was fun, and I loved it.
So were you mainly a hip-hop kid growing up?
Mainly a hip-hop kid.
So you didn't train in the other styles? You weren't a competition kid growing up?
I wasn't a competition kid, no. I dibbled and dabbled in a ballet class and a tap dance class, and, just kind of spread in that way, but not as much as some other kids. Hip-hop was, the main one for me, and, for even for music videos or movies, hip hop was the main main style that I paid attention to and that I was really attracted to, rather than the other styles. So yeah, mainly hip hop.
So were you an industry kid? Like, did you actually work in the industry as a child?
No,
or you just
no,
just
it was
training?
just class. It was just it was just training.
So at what point did you realize that actually I could do this for a living? Like,
Oh.
when was that moment? Do you remember?
It wasn't until after I graduated high school.
Really?
Yeah. So that was what, like I was 17, 18. I didn't realize that you can make it your job, you can make it your life, you can make it your business. I didn't realize that. I mean, hey, I was only watching what, like You Got Served, Stomp the Yard, Step Up, right?
Generation.
Yeah, literally. And I'm just like, oh, I just want to be in a music video, not knowing that, hey, you actually get paid for a music video. There's actually like a whole thing that goes along with that. I always thought that it was a like just a side job, or like not even a job. It's just a thing that you do. I thought that you had to have a job, like
A 9 to 5.
a 9 to 5, be a doctor, be a whatever it is, that whatever, 9 to 5 job, and then you dance on the side. I didn't know that that was the main thing that you can do. I didn't know that was possible.
So when did you actually make the decision that I'm actually going to do this as a career? When did you actually get the agent or start auditioning? When did that whole transition happen?
That was so my first job ever was the BET Awards 2012, 2013.
Oh my gosh, you're a baby.
Yeah, 2012, 2013.
Wow.
And I was like, oh man, like I'm actually in it. I'm actually in the world now. And that was a direct book. I didn't even need to audition. That was because I was, dancing with some choreographers at the time, and they had friends who had friends who had friends, and I was like, oh, hey, let's get that little black and Filipino girl next to you there. And, I went in and I had the time of my life. I was like, whoa, this is it. Like, this is what
you wanna do.
This is what I've been watching from other people. So yeah, that was like 2013. I was maybe 19 at the time.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're still living at home at this point?
Still living at home.
And you're dabbling, and at this point, were you full-time and just dancing, or did the teachings kick in shortly after?
No, this was, God, I think at that time, let me try to tap in. I was working at like California Pizza Kitchen. I was still.
How'd you like that restaurant?
Yeah, California Pizza Kitchen. I was the best server ever here in Burbank, just letting you all know. I love that job. I was a server. And I went to Pasadena City College because my parents were like, okay, if you're going to do this, there needs to be a backup plan just in case, it doesn't work out.
I think a lot of dancers can relate to the parents talking about the plan B, the backup plan.
Yep.
What was the backup plan?
My backup plan at the time was, okay, I'm going to go to Pasadena City College and I'm going to study in communications and broadcasting.
Whoa.
Because I was like, okay, if I'm not a dancer, there still needs to be a form of like the production and the entertainment and the performance.
Yeah.
And I actually like doing this. I like talking. I like telling stories. I like the whole art of journalism. And yeah, that's what I went to school for. But I didn't finish because obviously my plan A from the jump ended up working out. But yeah, this was once when I booked my first job, it was still a like side thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
amazing. Well, that explains why you're so good on the mic. And so you've got the on-camera experience as a broadcaster.
Yep.
Okay, so Plan B didn't exactly work out because
No.
Plan A is where the heart was.
Where the heart was, exactly.
And then you went full steam into being a professional dancer. And
Yep.
then when did teaching creep in?
Teaching crept in maybe about a year or two after that, and I was kind of like just forced into it because the person that I was assisting at the time, she went on maternity leave.
Oh, so you
and
took over.
I took over. Me and her other assistant took over and was just like, she wanted to keep her brand alive, which, yes, absolutely, that's what you need. You can't, just because you have a baby and just because life happens, like you still want to do your best in having your business still run with or without you.
Yeah.
And that was my first experience teaching my first class at Millennium Dance Complex, and I was like, I didn't think that I could do it. I didn't even want to choreograph. I was just
Really?
like, how do you choreograph? Like, how, I don't have the experience. How do I even begin? I don't know what to put together. Do I make it cool? Do I make it hard? Do I make it easy? Do I make it, there's just so many things that happen in your head when you think about that transition from dancing to choreographing.
Yeah.
And the truth is, there's no right or wrong answer. And I kind of just put something together to a Rihanna song at the time, and it was actually really good. Like, I was very surprised with my choreography, and I was very surprised with not only that, but people's reaction to my choreography. Like, oh, like, low key, you need to have your own class. Like, this shouldn't just be a substitute thing. And I loved it. I loved the feeling that teaching gave me.
Yeah.
And I was so scared of it at the time. I was so fearful of it because
Really?
I felt like, the pressure I felt like you needed to have before you could even have a class. Number one, have a class at Millennium. You need to have a certain amount of credits, and you need to have a certain amount of things on your resume. Or else why should dancers trust you? That's what I thought. I was like, I'm not just going to trust anybody. I'm not just going to walk into somebody's class. When you walk into people's classes, you want to know that your teacher and your choreographer has something to offer, has experienced something that you want to experience. Or else, like, why walk into a math class when that teacher doesn't even know one thing about math and it's like a freaking health teacher? I don't know.
So a little bit of imposter syndrome.
Yeah, absolutely. But sometimes that's just all in your head. Art is art. There's no right or wrong. There's only experience. It's no losses. It's only learning. And I'm so happy I just kind of got pushed into that situation, even though I didn't really like it at the time. I was just like, you know what, let me do it. Let me honor, the person that I was assisting at the time, and let me just go for it. And that changed the whole trajectory of what I thought my career was going to be.
And little did you know that it was your teaching that was going to make you explode as a influencer.
Exactly.
So was there a particular class video that exploded? Because I was just creeping on your YouTube the other day, and I saw Level Up had 40 million views.
Yeah.
Was that one of your biggest videos?
Yeah, there's a few. I mean, there's a 40 million. I think there's a 22 million. There's maybe like a 30 million, a 10 million. But hey, like I thought 1 million was enough, honestly.
Right.
So the fact that it jumped to like however many digits that is, it's bonkers to me. There's a few big ones. So Level Up Sierra, Itty Bitty Piggy, Nicki Minaj, When We by Tank, Booty Remix by Chris Brown, Twerk by the City Girl. Like, the list goes on, everyone.
And was there an intention behind this, or was it kind of one of those flukes where you're like, we're just going to record a class, and then it just caught on fire and then took off?
It's the second one, everyone. It's the second one where I was just like, I love this song. Yes, Twerk, or yes, When We, or whatever the songs were. I was just, that's just how it works, and that's what I try to explain to everybody. In this day and age, I know everyone just wants their videos to go. Everyone wants their videos to explode and make things happen for them. But the moment you decide, I'm going to create this because I want this to happen, that's when it just doesn't work. And I'm so happy I actually was just doing it just to have fun. It was just fun. Let me just create something that I love, that feels natural to me, that I know my students are going to love. We're just all going to have an experience. And then whatever it does from there, that's what it does. Whether it gets 0 views, 1 view, 10 views, 1 million views, 50 million, whatever. Like, it's whatever God has in store, whatever the universe has in store, that's just what's going to happen. And yeah, I did not think about what was going to happen. I was just like, I want to choreograph to this song, period, point blank, and done. Keep it moving.
Now, was there, other than using a popular song, was there someone who shared your video that triggered something, or was it just purely the algorithms that caught on fire? Like, do you even know if you really, do you ever analyze why and how?
No.
I mean, if you're an unknown choreographer,
I know.
like anybody that's an aspiring influencer, they're thinking, okay, cool, I just make one cool video and then it just goes on. I mean, somebody must have shared it, no?
Yeah, well, I mean, it can happen many different ways, but I think for me,
Because you didn't have a following yet at this
no,
point.
I didn't have a following. I probably was at like 5 or 7K. But you're right. Yeah, 5 to 7K. This was before 10,000, and 10,000 at that point was a lot. And it still is a lot now. I don't want anybody to downplay that. But yes, at the beginning of my career, before all of those before those pieces that I just mentioned, there was reposts by celebrities, and that did help me a lot. Yeah.
That I think.
Yeah, Jason
definitely.
Derulo was the first person to repost my class video. Then it was Chris Brown to repost my class video. Then it was Nicki Minaj. Then it was, whoever was next. But yes, that did help me. But that wasn't the intention, though. That wasn't the intention.
Just a couple big celebrities.
Yeah.
No big deal. Just Jason Derulo, Chris Brown, Nicki Minaj,
Yes, you're right. No, you know what? I have to give credit to those reposts. I have to. At that point, I was like, wow, I would want to audition for these people. I would want to dance for these people. And
now they're sharing your art.
They're sharing my art on their page, leaving it up. So yes, that did a big, big thing. That wasn't, but hey, you know what? There was a few people that was like, hey, this choreographer who has this dancer that you just took class with this dancer. Why don't you ask that dancer to, give it to somebody, a part of the team, to try to get so-and-so to post it? And I was like, that is way too much work. That's too much effort. Again, just let it go. It's just the idea of planting the seed, watering it, and then just walking away and let's see what happens. And that's what was meant. And I think because I didn't try so hard to get these celebrities' attention, that's what made them like, oh, look at this undiscovered, look
talent,
at this, talent. Posting, dancing to my work, let me reshare. And that did a lot for my following and, for my numbers there,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward,
Okay.
do you have a strategy now? Or is it still that organic, like, I'm just going to post this video and it does what it does? Or is there a formula even to your video content?
Yeah.
Is it more strategic now that you know how everything works?
Yeah, you know what? A little bit. There was it's about consistency, especially with this social media stuff. It's about consistency. Your social media is your own platform. And I really didn't know, I don't think I would have been able to put that into words at the time. I just knew I had to come back with the next every single week. So what the formula was teaching twice a week, same days, for as long as you can.
Okay.
And that way, when people are here like in the same city as you, they know when you're teaching, they can, plan their schedules accordingly to make it. So that way, people are coming to your class. And then for the people who are not here in the same city, they know, oh, okay, Tuesday, I know that Aliya teaches every Wednesday at 8 p.m. I know that she's going to post the combo by Thursday at 12. And then she's going to do a round 2 on Friday. So I can either plan to get there on Friday to learn it, or I'm going to be waiting right on YouTube Saturday morning, the day after her round 2, to watch that. And it's like a show, Think about you guys' favorite shows. I don't know, whether it be the Kardashians, whether it be, back in the day, So You Think You Can Dance. Like, that was my shows. Back in the day, it was like SpongeBob or whatever show I looked forward to. That you can count on that content, that new episode to be there. You know what I mean? So it's about finding those days and establishing what that schedule is and what people can really look forward to and count on. Yeah.
Now, with you being where you're at right now, do you have a like an influencer agent, or for example, or because you've been getting brand deals, I hear.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming. So rewind. We go viral on YouTube.
Yeah.
You're getting more followers.
Yeah.
At what point did the brand deals come in? Did you seek them out?
No.
Or did they start coming to you?
They start coming to you.
And how did that happen?
So and that can happen multiple ways as well. And it's a whole business with the social media stuff. So I feel like when you first go viral and when you first establish a following or a video goes crazy, you'll oftentimes find these brands and different people that represent those brands in your direct messages.
Yep.
So DMs were a very, very important place to check always, because you just never know who's going to be in there. So my first few brand deals, they weren't like the biggest brands at the time. They were just starting up, and they reached, directly out to me through direct messaging on Instagram. And then sometimes, depending how you have your social media, if you have an email in your bio,
right,
they'll probably go there as well. And it's up to you to figure out what that business is going to look like. If you're going to talk, negotiate, go back and forth directly with that brand, or if you're going to have someone to represent you. I didn't have anybody to represent me for social media at the time. I only had my dance agent, that's a completely different
line of work.
Different line of work,
yep.
Exactly. So I was talking directly to these brands. I was just like, they were asking me what my rate is for each post. Hey, what would it look like if you were to carry this purse out in your class, or like have this purse just sitting right there as you do a dance move? Like how much are you charging? And I'm like,
did you consult with anybody, or were you just
No, I didn't.
Can we talk about the business side and tell us where you started? What was your first asking price? I'm just curious to know how you started. Do you remember?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but I mean, it was maybe like 3 digits, a couple $100s. I was just like, whoa, to post, I can make, whatever it was, $100, $200, maybe even $300 felt like a lot to me, because I was like,
so
my checks, my California Pizza Kitchen checks were like $400. I can make $300 just from posting this and just having this purse right there, tagging a little thing. Like, it was as low as that, everyone. Like, it was pretty low. But for me, I was like, hey, this is a come up, Sometimes your dance checks are lower than that.
Right.
And that's a totally different conversation, social media versus dance checks. But I then got a manager.
Okay.
To help me out, because it was just too much. Okay. It was coming to the point where I was so in demand that I was missing messages. And then sometimes they would come to my class and they're like, hey, I reached out to you maybe like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I haven't gotten a response. Is there someone that we can talk to? I know that you're busy. And I'm like, oh, I need a team. I can't do it by myself. I don't want to do it by myself. But at that point, I was like, where do you even go? So at this point, I used my connections and different resources that I had, and I seeked out a manager. And sometimes you have to be careful with managers as well, because we know those horror stories about people, feeling like they have their best interest at heart, but not really. So when I met my husband at the time, this was kind of like when I met my husband around like 21, and I had my husband talk to the manager to see what he was about. My husband is older than me, so he kind of knew the right questions to ask. He's been in the industry way longer. He kind of knows what to pick out, what to, see as a red flag, green flag, whatever. And he came back to me that night and he was like, okay, I think that he's a real deal. He's going to represent me as well. So I felt better with that. And, me and this manager worked for a long time together, and he was able to handle all my social media stuff. He, of course, consulted with me, and, he really helped me out at that point. And then things started to turn a little bit, and that's where, we separated.
Okay. And
then having a team, number one, having a team.
A good team.
Having a good team, yes. That has your best interest.
I know that feeling. I've got a great team.
Yeah. Yes. You can't do it on your own, you guys. Sometimes it's really, it's about your team to represent you, because that's in the best light, because these are the people that these brands are going to talk to, and if they're representing you, you know what I mean? And
absolutely. It's got to be a good reflection of you.
Yes. If your team is talking to them a certain type of way, or not responding, or, shows any kind of unprofessionalism, that means that Aliya is unprofessional, and Aliya is, whatever the team had rubbed off. So, yeah, that But it did start off, my manager did start off good for a while, and that's what made me, I will give credit to him, even though I'm not working with him now.
Giving you
really,
the start.
Yes, he really gave me that boost when all of this was happening.
Give credit where
for
it's
the first
due.
time.
They gave you the start, and you know, sometimes it doesn't work out long term. That's okay too.
Exactly.
I'm wondering, did you have this manager in 2019?
I did.
Because I think I communicated with your manager.
Yeah.
For the Universal Dance Awards.
Yes.
For those of you that don't know, Aliya was one of the presenters at Universal Dance Awards, which my husband and I co-produced. And I don't even think I met you that night. And if I did, it was so chaotic for me because I was running around. But I saw you on stage and I saw all the photos and all that too. But I remember I don't think I dealt with you. I think I dealt with your manager.
Yep. You definitely did. I remember.
Okay.
I was like, wait, what? Universal Dance Award? I've never even heard of this. Like, what is this? And he was like, no, it's a big deal. So-and-so is going to be there. So-and-so is going to be there. Da-da-da-da-da. Like, this is you guys' Grammy Awards or VMAs. Like,
Universal
just for
Studios.
dance.
It was beautiful night.
It was beautiful. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Full circle moment. Yes.
Yeah. And now we're here.
And now we're here. Yeah.
Get to meet years later.
Yeah.
All right. So I'd love to touch on, the social media, but also the dancer life, because I know that, as you've already mentioned, the working dancer life is very different from the influencer life. And you even talked about the pay as well.
Yes.
Would you give us an idea, without mentioning names unless you want to, of what the most you've been able to make on a brand deal and the most you've been able to make as an industry dancer?
I don't know if you guys are going to like these answers.
But you know what? I want to unveil this. I mean, we're opening the curtains. This is the business of dance. We can't talk about business without talking about money.
You're right.
So I'm sure there's a lot of dancers that aspire to tour with Beyonce.
Yeah.
Aspire to be an influencer. But what do those numbers even look like?
Oh, man. So for social media, the biggest contract that I've gotten was around 6 figures.
Beautiful. For one post?
Oh, no, that's like a whole year-long campaign.
Okay, campaign.
That's like a whole year-long campaign that has multiple posts involved, even like some different settings. Okay, let me dial it back. For one post, definitely like easy 5 figures then. 5 figures. Okay. Depending on your engagement and depending on who you are, depending on where you've been and your consistency, you can definitely make 6 figures with just one post, everyone, with just one post. That could be a video, picture, whatever. Now for a dance job, I haven't even touched that. I don't think I've ever touched the 6-figure mark for a dance job. That is crazy. 5 figures for a dance job, but like lower, way lower than what I would get social media wise.
What about teaching?
Oh, that's a total different story.
That's a different realm as well. A lot of dancers cross over into teaching. What kind of money?
Teaching is definitely like high 5 figures. High 5 figures. Yeah. And that's why especially like for me, that's why a lot of choreographers are part of these conventions and go out of the country, because these different countries that strive to come to America to dance with our choreographers here, to be in our dance studios, they treat us like celebrities out there. So yes, the money is so good. Yeah, as a working teacher and choreographer, especially out in, different countries. Overseas, exactly.
No, I really think it's important for us to touch on this because a lot of young dancers and parents don't realize the money that can be made.
Yep.
And that's why the conversation of the plan B always comes into place.
Yep.
Because parents feel, well, I want my kids to succeed, but I don't know if they really can make money in this industry. I don't know if this has longevity.
Yeah.
It's a young career. People don't realize that you can springboard into broadcasting, into owning a studio, into being a recording artist, into being a teacher. There's so many springboards, even though it started as a Millennium Dance hip-hop class.
Yes.
That class
Yep.
evolved into an entire lifetime career.
Yes.
And thank you for being transparent about that, because I think that's inspiring.
Yeah.
I think when somebody shows us what is possible, it gives younger dancers someone to look up to and to be able to say, well, if she can do it, I can too.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know that you had that. Because my generation, I'm a generation before you, the biggest job that you could get is being on tour.
Right.
Or a big commercial.
Right.
And I made great money doing that.
Yeah.
But I would never had the social media platform growing up. We didn't have, like, you had to get 10,000 followers to get into a commercial audition. I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, what?
Really?
You mean my credits don't matter?
I know.
Only my following?
Only
like,
those numbers.
The numbers, because brands, especially, they look at their numbers. I mean, talent is one thing, credits is another thing, but looking at your social media presence now, I mean, love it or hate it, it's the reality now.
That is the day and age that we're in. Absolutely. You couldn't have said it any more perfect. It's about your numbers, and some people, but you need to have it all. You need to know, you need to be prepared for someone who wants a more traditional, traditional way. Like, people still do look for resumes. People still do look for those credits. People look for how you carry yourself, what your headshots are looking like, how you hold yourself in an audition. And then some other people are like, okay, I don't care about any of those things. What's your social media looking like? Can I even find a video of you dancing? Can I find a good picture of you that represents who you are and what you look like right now? And if you have all of those things in place, okay, then I'll invite you to this, little private rehearsal, a private audition or whatever. You need to have it all. You need to be well-rounded. You can't just be one thing. And I think me going on tour with B last year really attests to me, growing up in the social media light and the social media world, but still having the respect, still having the awareness to like kind of dial all the social media stuff down, and just being a professional dancer that knows how to carry herself, knows how to show up prepared, knows how to audition the way that it was back in the day, and book it. And regardless,
tell me how you booked the Beyonce tour. How did that happen for you?
Okay, so that you know what, the Beyonce tour is the perfect story to show everyone that you need to have both. So I didn't even know that Renaissance was having auditions. I didn't even know she was having auditions. Okay. And even before that, I wasn't looking for auditions. I'm not in a space where I want to audition anymore. I do not want to dance for artists. That's not, where my heart is. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about like a total different thing. However, because of my social media, the choreography team at the time was seeking people that didn't show up to the audition. I guess she wanted to see more talent. She just wanted to really like see the best of the best. And the choreography team was in my direct messages, and I just happened to see it. I do not check my direct messages anymore because sometimes it's just like trash and, whatever. It's people trying to get in touch with me, but it's like, maybe even some guy, whatever.
Somebody slipping through the DMs.
Yeah, someone sliding through the
Even
DMs
though you're married,
once in a while. Yeah. So I don't really check my DMs, but something told me to just see what was in there, and it was a choreography team, and they were like, "Hey, are you available tomorrow? 3 p.m. for the last round of auditions that we're having in LA." It'll be that fast, you guys. It won't be time to prepare. There won't be time to think about it. Yeah. And it's not just them. It's everybody. Everyone is working like this. With the snap of the fingers, you're either ready or not. And Beyonce is obviously someone that I've always wanted to work with, regardless of where I was in my career. I said I'm done dancing for artists, but if she ever called me, I would drop everything to be there. Yeah. And that's what I did. And I went to that audition. There was probably only like 20 people there. And it took place in a really big, big studio. It was very, very intimidating. I haven't been to an audition in forever. And the last audition I was at, it was like, cute little dance studio, whatever. No, this is the real deal. We're in the big leagues now, especially with her.
Was she there?
She was not there. She was not there. But, the choreography team was. And sometimes the choreography team is much more like... Intimidating than the actual artists themselves, And man, you guys, I faked it till I made it.
I don't know if you had to fake it.
There was 3. I remember I was only prepared to learn like one piece of choreography. No, you needed to learn 3, all different styles. One was like hip hop and heels. I knew I was gonna kill that because that's what I do. One was more like lyrical, contemporary turns and drops and like I'm not that person at all.
So you think that part?
I faked that part. And then there was another one that was like more jazzy, more like showy Broadway type, and that I could fake till I make as well.
So that was versatility. They were looking for versatility.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Versatility all day, every day. And, regardless of whether you're good at something or not, it's about how you carry yourself. It's about how you keep your composure. And it's about how quickly and how, to the best of your ability, how can you adapt? We just want to see what you can handle. Are you just going to decide in your head, okay, I don't do lyrical and contemporary, so, this is not the job for me? Or are you going to, it's not even just faking till you make it. Are you going to try? Are you going to try at least make this the beginning of your lyrical contemporary journey and really try to use all of the training that you've ever had as a dancer and as a mover to just adapt to the best of your ability? Because sometimes it's not about doing something so perfectly. It's about how well you can adapt, how well you can work under pressure. And I tapped into my emotions. And, dancers are actors as well.
Yes.
You know what I'm
glad you
saying?
said that.
Dancers, we can do everything. And boy, I was like, I'm not a lyrical contemporary dancer, but I will be today. Yeah, exactly. Tap in, really feel the music, and just, it was not perfect at all. Oh my God, that was the worst. That was the worst, like in my head. But I would never share that or voice that. And
your inner critic. That's just your
inner critic. But I danced my heart out. I left it all on the dance floor, and that's all that you can do at the end of the day. Landed me the job.
Well,
landed me the
there
job.
you go.
2 or 3 days later, I got the call, and I was like, man,
How was that experience? Now, this is now you're on a tour with one of the biggest pop stars on the planet.
It was oh my God.
How was that experience working with B, working with the team, just performing in front of those massive, I saw the show in Vancouver.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Wow.
It was amazing.
Performing for that big of an audience made my training so worth it. Oh my God, that's all you want to do as a dancer is just have all of that energy to look around and not even like just see a sea. It's like a sea of people just cheering on for you, and they're so happy. And when you look down, it's like you're the star too.
Yeah, you feel that energy.
Yeah. On the other side of the token, that was not a game. That was simply the hardest project I've ever been on. It challenged you in ways that didn't even involve dancing. It was like being away from your family, being away from, your loved ones, your partner, your dog. Like, it's going away from your normal life. And now you're in a different city every single week, having to living in your from your suitcase, hotel to hotel. That tour life is it's a different beast.
It is.
It's a different beast, and you learn yourself. And if you're not like well with yourself and just who you are, what you want, what you demand, what you like, it's going to be very difficult because there's so many things that are being thrown at you. And if you're not grounded, you don't know who you are, you can be like taken place to place to place. And there's different energy on that tour. There's so many different people.
So many personality types.
Many different personality types. Ones that you like, ones that you don't like.
But
what
you gotta make it work. You're stuck working together for how long?
Exactly.
A year?
Like 7 months.
7 months. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get really close to people on tour.
You get really close to people.
It becomes a family.
Oh my God, yes. But sometimes you're like, can you freaking get out of my face? Like, I just
need a moment to breathe.
I just want some time to breathe. Like, I just want my normal life, and that's just what it is. And it's the beauty, but it's also like the most challenging. And I'm so happy I did that because now I have the experience to talk about it, and now I feel like I have reached all the dreams I've ever wanted as a dancer, and this being in my own studio is one of those dreams that I never thought would happen that quickly after tour.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
So we're at the Stew. This was a dream. This was a dream of yours.
The Stew Los Angeles, yes.
What is the vision behind this? Chuck Maldonado is your co-partner.
I love you, Chuck. Shout out to Chuck.
Shout out to Chuck.
Which I wish he was here right now.
How did this all come to fruition? Because I've known Chuck, we both moved to LA the exact same year. Before I even knew you existed. And I didn't even know about the studio until last week when Swoop was teaching.
Oh.
Because Swoop and I go way back. And then my assistant Andrea, who's over here with us, she was taking the class. And then I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, what is the studio? And then I connected the dots, and then I was like, oh, Chuck, Aliya. So for me and for many others, this is new.
Yeah.
I know it's 3 months in,
Yeah.
what I understand, at the time of this filming. How did this come about, and what is your vision behind the studio?
Oh my gosh. Well, having my own home and my own studio, because remember, I was teaching like every single week. And sometimes, just going back, sometimes those studios aren't available, and sometimes you have to find different places to teach, and you're literally just like, you're producing your own projects, finding the location, making sure, you know, it's within your budget, making sure that it's big enough, making sure that it's clean enough, like finding all of the, you know, finding these different locations. And I hated it. It took the fun, producing your own projects took the fun out of the creativity and the art. And I was just like, I can't wait to have my own space where I don't have to check whether it's available or not. I can just go in whenever I want. I know what to expect. I can take as long as I want, you know, and, you know, just a place that I can call home. So it's something that's been in my head for a long time, like even before tour, before any of this. However, actually, speaking of tour, while being on tour, you know, sometimes you get so consumed in it that you forget about everything else that happens.
The outside world.
The outside world.
Get
And then by the
disconnected.
time you come back, because tour is your life for years and years and years, or 7 months or whatever it is, you know, that's still time that's going. And I think a big mistake that dancers make is putting their all into the tour and forgetting about how to capitalize from this. Okay, I'm on Beyonce's tour. I really need to start making this content because people are starting to look at me. They're wanting to invest their time in, you know, Beyonce's dancers. So this is the time to create, and start to like really strategize and start making your platform. Because when tour is done, you don't know when you're going to go back. You don't know when you're going to make more money. You don't even know if she's going to want to go on tour. You don't even know if she's going to want to hire you again. So it's like you need to, while you're in this job that's fantastic and it's, you know, the biggest dream you have, you need to start thinking about your other dreams too. And you need to start to think about what you're going to do after that if it doesn't happen. And one of the biggest things that I thought about is how can I use the money that I'm making on tour to invest in my own space when I get back? Because I don't know if I'm going to want to go back on the road again. I don't know if I'm going to want to dance for artists or audition. I don't even want to. I want to be in a place where I can just sit back and relax, have my money come to me, and, you know,
Be the
boss woman that I know that I can be. And when I got off tour, you know, it was really hard because obtaining a space like this is like harder than like getting a house or getting an apartment building or what. I don't know if you guys know what that's like to get your own apartment or even your own house, but like it's a lot of freaking work. And I had no idea that it was going to take that much. But my husband is best friends with Chuck Maldonado. I've always wanted to work with Chuck Maldonado. I'll still audition for Chuck to this day. Like, I have always loved him. He wanted to open up his own space and was looking for a new partner. And ding, 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 ding. And my husband was like, my wife, my best friend, bam. And yeah, both Chuck and I were like, oh my gosh, we had no idea that you would even be open to partnering together. Da, 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 da. It's perfect. Man and woman, old school, new school. Like, we're bridging the gap. And he's like, I call him my second husband now. And I think because your
business husband.
My business husband, exactly. I think because, you know, I just let the pieces fall into place. I didn't really you know, try to control every single factor and every single element. I kind of just let it go. I planted that seed and watered it. Everything kind of like fell into place, including this building. And without Chuck, oh my God, this wouldn't have been able to happen because he has the experience that I don't have with running a studio, the business behind it and all of it. And I just know how to fill it. I know how to
You have the audience.
market it.
He's got the business brains. You put it together. It's a great marriage.
Exactly. And that's kind of like how it all happens. But The vision for this place is endless. I think me and you being here today is literally making one of those dreams come true, because I don't want just dancers to be here. I want creatives, period. I want business women and men, period, you know, making their dreams come true and, you know, executing their projects within this space. It's not just about dance, it's about everything. And even for us, like as dancers, I don't even categorize myself as a dancer anymore. I categorize myself as an artist, period.
I want to touch on that.
Okay.
Because you came out with a single recently.
Yeah.
So now you are also a musical artist.
Yes.
Tell us about what's going on with that.
Oh my God. Ugh, it's so scary. It's so scary thinking about it, everyone. Music is in me, through me. It's all of us. Anyone who knows how to dance, everyone who considers dance a passion, music is like,
it's the heart and soul of a dancer.
It's the heart and soul, exactly. And again, first it started off as a business move, because, you know, for a YouTuber, if you're using any music that's not yours, you will not make money off of your videos.
Correct.
So the millions and billions of views that you had mentioned at the beginning of this episode, I haven't seen a dime, because none of that music belongs to me. Okay. It belongs to the labels that, you know, have the artists, whatever. That's a whole different conversation. So regardless, I'm not making anything off of it. I'm creating a community, and I have my followers, and that's great, and that does mean something, which is why I'm here today, and which is why I've been able to make a name for myself. But having people to follow you does not pay for your bills and does not pay for the building that you now own.
Monetize that.
We need to monetize. So I need to start making my own music, and I need to start figuring out a way to, you know, kind of like put both together at the same time. Be the best dancer that I can be the great teacher that I can be the great producer that I know I can be. But you need to own that music that you're dancing to.
So is there more music in the pipeline?
There is more music in the pipeline, of course. So as it started off as a business move first, it also became like a new dream of mine. I don't really know where I want this music where I want this to go. I don't want to put too much pressure on it. Again, I'm just planting the seed and kind of just
organically
letting it flow. Like whatever's supposed to happen will happen. All I know is let me just be the best artist that I can be, and let me challenge myself. You're never ever too good to stop learning. You're never like, even though I'm established in this lane that I'm at, like now let's figure out what else I can do. Let's figure out what my other lanes can be. Like we're unlimited. Dancers can do everything and anything they can put their mind to. And for right now, I'm just like, let's see what happens with this. So yes, there's more music in the pipelines, more visuals, more things to come within the studio as well. I want to get to a place where everything is mine. My clothes is mine. My heels are mine. My music is mine.
You are the brand.
I'm the brand. Exactly. I want to get to that point, and I will get to that point. And I want all dancers that are listening to kind of like really let that sink in, because dancing for artists and dancing in music videos and on stage is only one like percentage that you can do with your talent and your ability and just who you are as a person. Like really expand, make that one dream your dream, but then make a dream that's even bigger and even bigger and even bigger, and let your life surprise you. Life has surprised me in ways that
Dream big.
Never thought could happen. It wasn't even on my radar. Thinking about owning a dance studio, like what? That's not even on my radar. And that is what I pray for. Those are the blessings that I'm opening myself up to come, are things that are not even on my radar. Let's make it big. Go hard.
Well, I think it looks like you do everything big.
Yeah, I do.
Dancing, teaching, choreography, social media, and now the artist dance studio.
So yeah,
I'd love to see where your journey takes you in the next 5 to 10 years.
Thank you.
And we can have that conversation. Remember when?
Yeah. Yes. And then next thing you know, we're gonna have our own sound. We're gonna own our own sound stage one day. We'll be in one of our sound stages.
Well, I look forward to your journey and watching it. All right. Now, I could talk to you all day long, but I want to give a chance. We have some dancers in the studio.
Yeah.
They are our Business of Dance mentees. They come from all over. and they flew out here to be here today. So this is really special for them.
It's crazy, you guys.
And
Thank you so
we want to
much.
give them an opportunity to ask you a question. So
Of course.
if you don't mind, we're going to go through each one so they can have an opportunity to ask you a question. So yeah, let's get to it.
Mine's kind of a loaded question, but how do you like balance everything? Like you're doing so much all the time, it feels like. How do you kind of keep the balance of like, you obviously have your husband and you talked about like a dog, like you talk about your family, like how do you balance being a dancer or being an artist or like a choreographer and also living as just like a person?
You know, it's not as hard as you think. I mean, it's not as hard, but it is work. And when all of those pieces, like, okay, let's talk about your partner just really quick, because that's a big one. I'm sure everyone aspires to have the wife or the husband that, you know, they have seen in movies or their own parents or whatever. And your partner, the right partner, is going to make life so easy and so seamless. Like my husband is the main piece to the puzzle that is my life, because he supports me in ways that oh my gosh, I can't even like begin to explain without even getting emotional, because he sees me, he sees my dream, and he makes my dream his own and vice versa. So like when you have a partner and when you're thinking about having one, or if you do have one now, you want to make sure that you guys are adding to your life and supporting in that way, to where it's not feeling like, oh, now I have to go spend time with my husband, but I really want to choreograph in the studio, or I really want to do this interview with Menina, but I have to like go with my husband. No, he's going to say, hey, or your partner is going to say, do this and I'll have dinner waiting for you when you get back, and we can have our time there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. It's time management, but it's also like, I'm not even really thinking, it's just all seamless, you know? And there really is no right or wrong. You just want to make sure that you're in a place where you're always inspired and you're happy and it doesn't become work. Once when it starts to become work, then that's maybe when you need to take a step back and be like, okay, where can I put more of my time to get me back to a more grounded place, a more happy place? You never want, even dance, like even in a dance studio, you don't want it to feel like work. You always want it to feel like you're a kid again, like on a playground. And I think when you get in touch more, I guess what I'm trying to say is you need to listen to yourself. You need to listen to your emotions. You need to listen to your energy and where you're at. Where do you feel like you need a break? Do you feel like you want to spend more time with family to reground yourself, reset yourself? Or do you feel like you're just bursting with all of this creativity and this inspiration that you've had? Okay, well, if that's the case, then get in the dance studio and make sure your family and your partner understands those things. And it'll kind of just like, once when you're in touch with your own emotions and yourself, it kind of just will run seamless. I hope that answers your question.
I'm Deanna. I'm from New Jersey, but I recently moved to LA a few years ago. My question would be, how would you go about kind of delving into the different business ideas that you have? Because I also have a lot of different things I want to do outside of dance, but I don't want to just throw myself in kind of blindly.
Taking one step at a time, making sure you know that dance will always be here. Your phone and social media is always changing, but regardless, it'll always be there. So we want to make sure that I know there's so many things that we want to do, but there's like, you have time, and it's like, I know some people are like, you need to just go, because we don't have time. You never know, da-da-da-da-da. But I just feel like that creates an anxiety, an emotion of like having to go and having to race yourself. It's like it becomes very stressful. And like how I was saying to the young man, is you want to make sure that it feels like a playground. You want to make sure that you're enjoying every single step of the way, because the journey lasts much longer than that destination. So you want to make sure that you're having a good time and taking one step at a time, and kind of just like tuning into what you want to do that day. Like, are you feeling more social media? Do you feel like you want to be in front of the camera that day? Do you feel like you want to choreograph? Do you want to feel like you want to take class? Do you want to train? Like, you kind of have to just tap in with yourself. But, you know, there definitely does take priority. So what is it that you want to do? That's number one. Okay, well, first, this dream of my dream was always to, be on stage with somebody. Okay, well, let's go for that. And then let's see what transpires, but still kind of like be aware of the other different lanes that you want to take. See how you can kind of tend to that a little bit, and plant those seeds, water it, walk away, and let it just come to you. Yeah.
And my name is Mia. I'm from Sarasota, Florida. My question was, what is the biggest lesson your dance career has taught you?
That I am unlimited. I can do it all. Whatever I want all to be is I could do it. Like I said, Timonina, dancers are the most talented beings that I've ever seen. We can adapt in ways that people in other different lanes really can't. It's hard. And we are so resilient. We are freaking superheroes. And we're so hardworking, and whatever you want from this life, you can have. Dance, honestly, is just that. It's literally the foundation. That's where I started, like how she said. That's where I started, and because of dance has taken me to different places that I never even thought of. So I really owe dance everything. But yeah, I mean, I guess in simplest terms, I don't even know if that makes sense, but dance taught me that we are everything. Yeah, we can do anything. Yeah, of course.
Hi, my name is McKenna Mitchell. I'm 17 years old, and I'm from Portland, Oregon. My question is, what has been the hardest part of your professional dance career?
The hardest part, wow. One that comes up is my family. When you get the more that you become successful, and the more experiences that come, it takes you away from your family. And I mean, obviously, there's a lot. I know you guys flew here, and I feel like 90% that makes up our dance community in LA, they're not from here. They're from different places, and they've had to leave their families. They've had to leave everything that they know from their hometowns to make their dreams come true and be here. And it gets lonely at times. It gets lonely, and I've had different experiences with even my mom, to where she feels like I don't have enough time for her, and sometimes I don't have enough time, and that's the sacrifice that you have to make to get to the place that you want to be. And then when you get there, you're able to make time, and sometimes you just have to use what you have and use the resources to make a phone call or make a FaceTime or whatever. But sometimes you're by yourself just making it work. So definitely time management has been really, really, it's been a challenge, but you figure it out, and this is what you've always wanted. And I just feel like all of us want to be in that small percentage to where your dreams actually came true and you made that happen. There's a lot of people that are so scared of these things and time management and not having enough money and not knowing where the next thing is. But that's part of the journey, and that's kind of like where you have to really like put your 10 toes down and make it happen. Be that small percentage, because it can and it will happen for you if you want it to, and if you're willing to sacrifice. So yeah, there's a whole list of challenges. Just know that there's a lot, but it's nothing that you can't handle. So really embrace those things.
Hi, my name is Grace. It's really nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
I'm from a small city in Canada, and as someone who only gets to come to bigger cities every so often, I was wondering how you choose which choreographers and which teachers you want to train with, just because it can be hard to decide if you want to try a bunch of different choreographers, or if you want to stick to the same ones and see the growth in those specific classes.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering how you decide that, and if you have any choreographers that you recommend taking class from.
Oh my gosh, plenty. Okay, well, the first part of your question, how do I choose what choreographers to train under? Well, you kind of have to look at what they're doing. You have to look at their careers. You have to look at who they've been with, who they've, danced with or choreographed for. Okay, those things, whatever those answers are, if that aligns with you, then that's how you know that's the person that you're supposed to, train under. That's who you want to give your time to. Also the different styles come into play. Do you want to be well-rounded? Do you want to be prepared for a Beyonce audition where they're throwing these different, pieces, these styles at you? Or do you feel like you want to master this one thing? And honestly, there's no right or wrong. For me, I stayed in one class, which was a heels class, and that's obviously what I do and what I teach, and I'm so happy I did that. Everyone learns in a different way. Some people, how do you guys learn different combos? Do you go by the lyrics? Do you go by the music? Do you go by counts? Do you go by observing it? Do you go by, I have to do it myself in order to like really understand? Everyone learns in different ways, and everyone gets to their destinations in different ways. So you kind of have to choose which one makes you feel the best. And there's many different choreographers out there, man. One of them being my partner, Chuck Maldonado. You definitely have to get into that class. He knows everything about the film industry, not even just the dance industry, but the film industry, producing. He has many different connections, one of them being this woman right here who has a lot of connections herself. So that's one. Get into my class the next time that you're here. Luther Brown's class, Dexter Carr, love him. Lark, anybody who wants to train in their heels. Lark, I don't know her last name, sorry Lark, but Lark is a very good one. I just had a private with her myself, and she was, my gosh, everything that I've ever dreamed of. And man, many others. We'll talk after this, but yeah, you have to go with your gut. You know those answers.
Hi, my name is Cooper, and I'm from Kansas City. You mentioned earlier that when you first started teaching, you kind of had that imposter syndrome. Now that you're more confident in it and have been doing it for years, what's your process like? Do you more start with the music? Do you have like a groove in mind? How do you go through it?
I find a song that speaks to me. First, I find my song, and I'll get into the studio and I'll have my maybe one or two assistants, or maybe sometimes it'll just be myself, and I'll just kind of let the music take me. And really, if you guys have never choreographed your own pieces, really there's nothing to it. It's just freestyling. What do you hear in the music? What makes you move? Like, what do you pay attention to? Where does your ear automatically go? You start freestyling and kind of just like piecing the puzzle, or kind of piecing those blocks to finally make a tower, to finally make a piece. And I see it on different people's bodies, and sometimes I'm like, okay, let's change this. Sometimes I'll get my inspiration, or I'll choreograph in the most random places. Sometimes you kind of have to see it in your head when you're like in the kitchen making your bacon and eggs, or when you're in the shower scrubbing, and you're just like, dee, 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 dee. Or like when you're in the car, or I don't know, inspiration is everywhere. And I open myself up to that, and I don't put too much pressure on, I have to choreograph this in this amount of time, and whatever it is, it's life or death, whatever happens, that's what we're gonna do. Always just leave it open, always leave yourself room to make those different changes and make it even better. And on the other side of the token, just trust yourself. Whatever the first thing that you did, don't second guess it. Don't question it. Just do it and just go for it. And it ends up being a really great piece and a really great, masterpiece, whatever. Yeah. Create. Honestly, I think sometimes people want to make their combo like the best of the best of the best, and then they want to make the second one the best of the best of the best of the best, and then make the third one the best of the best of the best, and kind of like one up yourself. I've had that trouble for a long time, and I forgot about just the art of it all. And sometimes you're going to create something that is good for you in that time, at that time and place, and then maybe tomorrow you hate it, but hey, that's just what it is. Or maybe even the next day you'll love it even more. Sometimes I go back to like my 2017 combos, and I'm like, what the heck was I doing? Ew, cringe. And then sometimes I look back at it and I'm like, oh damn, I did that. It's just so many, you just have to go with it and give yourself grace. Give yourself grace and be the dancer that you are today. That's it. And then allow yourself to grow.
Hi, my name's Isabel Hull, and I'm from Portland, Oregon. And my question was, what was your favorite dance job and why?
My favorite dance job. Ooh. Oh my God, there's so many. Okay, but just to keep this short, I am the face of Gatorade Water. And that's a new thing. I'm their partner for all of this year. That has to be my favorite one right now, because you just wouldn't think of a dancer when you think of Gatorade, the iconic brand of Gatorade. So the fact that I was able to enter this partnership being all of me, like to my core with this iconic brand, like it means everything. So that. And then obviously have to give credit to the Queen Bee. That will always be a time that I'll always remember. And more than that, that will be something that I'm so proud of myself that I obtained that, just being me and working hard and being consistent. So yeah, Gatorade and Beyonce.
Thank you.
Yes.
What did you learn? What's something new you learned about yourself when working with Beyonce?
What is something I learned about myself? That I'm a queen too. That I am a queen. I'm queen right along. Yes. She wasn't the only queen that was in the room. Yeah, that's what I learned. And I guess to elaborate, sometimes with working with different artists, you're like, ah, to whoever you're working with, and sometimes you kind of forget about who you are too and what you're capable of. And because I established a name and established my brand before I got to Beyonce, it just reminded me that I'm like, wow, I see so much of myself as a creator in her. So it almost like it took away that pillar of her being up here and me being down here. It kind of made me realize that we were in the same place, just in our respective fields. And sure, she's older than me and has, more experience in that area. But I mean, it didn't take anything away from what I've done for myself. And I saw more of the similarities than the differences. I don't think you'll ever get a job that you can't handle. It'll be a little bit challenging, and it'll probably be imposter syndrome, but you kind of have to choose how to look at yourself and be like, yeah, this wouldn't have come if I wasn't ready for it, So yeah, it was a queen and queen. It was a queen and queen tour right there. Yeah. Queen and queen, exactly.
Thank you for our Business of Dance mentees for asking all your amazing questions. And before we wrap up, do you have any final words that you would like to share? Any words of advice for aspiring professional dancers that aspire to perhaps live a life similar to yours? What would you like to say?
I think there's two things. The first thing that comes into mind is do not compare your journeys to others. Do not compare. It will never, ever help you. It'll probably only discourage you and slow you down. You have to remember that your journey is your own, and to not swerve into other people's lanes. Do not look at other people's lanes. Do not try to look at other person's paper. Your journey is your own, and sometimes your journey will be a little bit slower than others, or sometimes it'll be a lot faster. But whatever it is, that's what it's supposed to be for you. Do not question it. Only trust it and embrace it. And there will always be time, and just be the dancer that you are today and just grow, even if it's a 1%, 2% at a time, 5% at a time, 100% of the time. Just embrace the journey that you're on today, and don't let others get in the way of that. Second thing is to always stay kind and just be true to who you are. And, if your journey starts to move faster than others, don't let that head grow too big. Be proud of yourself, but always be a good person, because to be on a stage with B, and to be on a stage with the biggest pop artist you can think of, or to be with a Gatorade or brands, they're looking for not only your ability, but do I even like working with you? Are you a good person? Like, do I even want you in my room? Like, can I even talk to you? Can I even hold a conversation? And I still, to this day, don't understand people who are divas and are just like, we all know what a diva is. And to each his own. But I full-heartedly believe that the one main reason why I am here today and a lot of success and blessings have come to me is because I stayed a true person. Like, even I honestly want to ask Shaboobs. Shaboobs has known me with nothing. I was just a teacher, and Shaboobs was videographing the class that I was taking every single week. And maybe part from just being mature now, I think that he would say that I'm honestly the same person as I was with nothing, with no money, with no name, with no followers. I'm still the same person. And to stay true, to just stay true and to stay kind, and know that it could all be taken away. All of your success, all of your followers, the numbers, the money, it all could be taken away. Remember where you came from. Remember who supported you. Give your love to your parents who gave this opportunity to you to fly all the way out here and be with Manina and be with me and be with the different choreographers you're going to train with. Remember who was there for you, and remember who believed in you more than you believed in yourself. And when you do that, those are the people that make the team that will literally make or break you. So just remember, and yeah,
That's beautiful.
That makes sense.
Well, on behalf of the Business of Dance, we thank you. We do a thing when we do our Zoom calls. Lots of love, hearts to you. Thank you for being with us and being a part of our premiere on-camera interview, and also a premiere for your studio in this space as well.
Everyone, please, I hope you guys come back and visit the Stu Los Angeles and dance with me and Chuck, and make this one of the spaces that houses your projects and the different things that you have going, and we'll always be here to help. I'll always be here to help. And Manina, thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your platform. I've heard many different things about you and your husband and the magical things that you've done, and just thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Well, thank you.
And I know that this is just the beginning for us. Yay. And thank you for coming to the Stu.
And that concludes another episode of the Business of Dance podcast.
We hope you found today's conversation insightful and gained valuable knowledge.
Be sure to join us next time for more inspiring interviews with top professionals in the dance industry.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to The Business of Dance on your favorite platform and take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback is greatly appreciated.
This podcast is brought to you by the Business of Dance online mentorship program to help aspiring professional dancers create their dream dance careers.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.